The stars looked calm from the outside, but deep space was never quiet. A signal moved through the darkness. It was weak, full of static, but held a clear message, a cry for help. The voice was not human. It sounded thin, almost scared. The message came from far beyond the outer borders of Terran space. Most people ignored it. It was not their problem. There were wars to fight, cities to build, money to make. But not everyone turned away. Nora Lane sat in the pilot seat of her old ship, the Sparrowhawk. Her crew was small, just 4 people. They didn't work for any big company or government. They traveled alone, taking odd jobs and helping where they could. They were not heroes, but they had hearts. Nora turned to her co-pilot, a young man named Felix. "That signal again," she said. "It's the 3rd time in 2 days." "Still no response from Central Command," Felix replied, tapping on the screen. "No one's going. They all say it's too risky." Dean Carter, the ship's engineer, leaned into the cockpit. He had grease on his hands and a tired look in his eyes. "You're not thinking of going, are you?" Nora sighed. "They're calling for help, Dean. What if no one else answers?" Dean crossed his arms. "We're not a rescue team. We have food for maybe 2 weeks, and no weapon strong enough to fight off space pirates. It's dangerous." A quiet voice came from behind. It was Ava, their medic. She had been listening. "But we have a doctor. We have supplies. Sometimes that's enough." Nora looked at her crew. They all knew what it meant to help strangers. Sometimes it didn't end well, but this felt different. The signal wasn't just noise. There was fear in the voice, sadness. "I say we go," Nora said at last, "just to take a look. We don't promise anything, but we see." The others didn't argue. Not really. That was one thing about the Sparrowhawk. They always made a decision together, even when they disagreed. The trip to the unknown system took 3 days. They moved through cold space, past empty stations and silent debris fields. When they arrived, they found a broken world. The planet below had once been full of life. Now, the sky was dark, the surface cracked and dry. A shattered moon floated above, sending chunks of rock into the atmosphere. The crew gasped at the sight. "This place got hit hard," Dean said softly. "Looks like a war zone." They picked up a signal. A small ship, still barely flying, approached them. It wasn't human. It looked like a strange insect, wings made of shining metal. The voice came again through the radio. "To any who hear this, we ask for aid. We have lost our kin. We are dying. We do not have much time." Nora pressed the reply button. "This is the Sparrowhawk. We are human. We heard your call. Who are you?" There was a pause. Then the voice replied, full of surprise. "Humans? You came." They arranged a meeting. The alien ship docked slowly with the Sparrowhawk. The crew waited at the airlock. When the door opened, a small figure stepped out. It was no taller than a child, with thin arms and large black eyes. Its skin looked like faded stone. "I am Valen," it said. "You are truly humans? From Earth?" "Yes," Nora said. "I'm Nora. This is Dean, Felix, and Ava. We came because you asked." Valen bowed, a strange but kind gesture. "We did not expect you to come. The galaxy says humans are dangerous, that you only care for your own." Dean muttered, "That's not far off." But Ava stepped forward. "We care. At least we do. Tell us what happened." Valen's eyes blinked slowly. "Our world was struck by a sickness. Many died. Then came the machines. They have no heart, no mercy. We fled, but they followed. We're only a few now." Felix looked around. "Why not call the other alien governments?" "We did," Valen said. "They sent silence, or told us to die quietly. But still we sent our signal. One last time." Nora looked at her crew. She saw the doubt in their eyes, but also the fire. "We're not sure how we can help," she said, "but we'll try." Valen looked up. "Then we are not alone anymore." The crew of the Sparrowhawk didn't know what waited ahead, but they had made their choice. In a galaxy full of fear, they had chosen to answer. The Sparrowhawk followed the alien ship toward a small station. hidden in the shadows of a broken moon. The station was old and weak, barely holding together. Lights flickered, and the metal walls were bent and burned. It was clear the place had seen better days. Valen guided them in carefully. "We stay here now," he said. "It is not much, but it is safe for the moment." Inside the station, the air was heavy. It smelled of chemicals and fear. Nora and her crew walked through narrow halls, passing small alien figures. Some looked curious, others scared. Most looked sick. A little alien child tugged at Valen's robe. He knelt and placed a hand gently on her head. The child coughed and said something in a language the humans didn't know. She asked if the monsters followed us. Valen translated. "She dreams of them every night." Nora felt her chest tighten. She looked at Ava, who already had her medical scanner in hand. "We can help the sick. At least a little." They were shown to a wide room with old machines and scattered supplies. It would be their base for now. Dean set up power lines from the Sparrowhawk to bring stable energy. Felix worked with Valen to connect communication panels. Ava started checking the health of the sick aliens. Later, the crew sat around a table, sharing a meal of protein bars and water. The aliens had little food, only dry packs of something like moss. Ava gave some of their medical supplies to the alien doctors. "There are too many sick," she said. "Some have fevers. Some have weak hearts. Some are hurt from the attacks. But the real trouble is infection. It spreads fast." Dean frowned. "We don't have the tools to stop a plague. And we sure don't have enough medicine." Nora didn't answer right away. She stared at her food, deep in thought. Then she stood and walked to the comms panel. "What are you doing?" Felix asked. "Calling an old friend," she said. She sent a message on a hidden channel. The message was short. "Alien world in crisis. Medical aid needed. Risk high. Come if you can." She didn't expect a reply that night. She lay awake in her bunk, staring at the low ceiling. She thought about the scared alien child, the sick faces, the broken homes. She thought about what Dean said. He was right. They didn't have what was needed, but maybe someone else did. The next morning, Valen showed Nora and Felix a map of the planet's surface. "This was our home. Now, only these zones remain safe. Here and here. But the machines come at night. They leave traps. They take the weak." "Why do they attack?" Felix asked. "They are not alive. They were made to destroy. Some say they were once tools made by an old empire. Now they hunt all life." Dean joined them, holding a tablet. "We got ping," he said. "Someone heard your message. A ship is on the way." Nora jumped up. "Who?" "Medical carrier from Halston for," he replied. "Captain's name is Ruth Myers. She says she's bringing help." Valen's eyes widened. "More humans will come?" "Looks like it," Dean said with a small smile. "They'll be here in 2 days." Later that day, Nora and Ava helped the alien doctors move the worst cases into a safer room. They built simple beds, used warm blankets from the Sparrowhawk, and set up clean water systems. It was not much, but the aliens began to smile. Felix worked outside with some alien technicians, repairing shield panels. They didn't speak the same language, but they understood enough. They shared tools, made hand signs, and laughed when something sparked or fell. That evening, the little girl from before came to Ava with a drawing. It showed a human and an alien holding hands. Ava smiled and gave her a piece of candy. The girl's face lit up. In the quiet night, Nora stepped outside the station with Valen. They stood under the stars. "You are not what we expected," Valen said. "You're kind. We feared you. Many stories told of humans who bring war." "Some do," Nora said, "but not all. We try to help when we can." Valen nodded. "You came when no one else did. That means something." Nora looked up. In the distance, the light of a coming ship blinked. Help was on the way. For now, they had made a start. 2 days later, the new ship arrived. It was larger than the Sparrowhawk, with bright lights and strong engines. The name Hopewind was written on the side. It landed near the station with care, sending a soft wind through the broken yard below. The crew of the Sparrowhawk waited outside to welcome them. The ship's door opened, and a tall woman stepped out. Her brown hair was tied back, and she wore a white jacket with a red cross on the arm. "Captain Ruth Myers," she said. "You must be Nora." Nora shook her hand. "Thank you for coming. We need all the help we can get." Behind Ruth, doctors and helpers followed, carrying boxes of medicine, food, and clean water. Some began helping the alien workers right away. Others checked the sick and weak. Ava ran to meet the new doctors. "We've set up a small room for patients. It's not much, but it's clean." Ruth nodded. "We'll turn it into a real clinic." We brought portable beds and machines. Inside the station, the mood began to change. The sick were given real care. The rooms filled with clean air and soft lights. Even the alien children laughed more. Felix helped unload crates of parts and tools. Dean worked with the engineers from the Hopewind to repair the station's power grid. Lights that had been dead for months turned on again. Warmth returned to cold rooms. That night, the two crews shared a meal in the main hall. Aliens and humans sat side by side. Some talked, some simply watched, but no one felt alone. Valen stood to speak. His voice was quiet but clear. "For a long time, we believed no one would come. Now humans are here. You gave us hope. You gave us life again." Nora looked around the room. She saw tired faces, but they were smiling. She saw people helping each other without being asked. Ruth sat beside her. "You made the right call, Nora. This place might survive now." But not everyone was happy. Dean sat with his arms crossed. "This is good," he said. "But we still have a problem. The machines will come again." Nora nodded. "I know. We can't run forever." The next day, Valen called a meeting. He showed a map of the nearby area. The machines came from the east. They leave traps and watch the skies. But we found something, an old bunker, human-made, hidden under the rocks, maybe from the old wars. Dean raised his eyebrows. A human bunker? That might have weapons, or tools. Valen continued. "We sent scouts. The door is shut, but the power still works. We think your codes may open it." Nora looked at her crew. "We'll check it out. If there's something in there that can help us, we need it." The next morning, Nora, Dean, Felix, and two soldiers from the Hopewind took a transport to the bunker site. The ride was bumpy. The land was dry and cracked. Strange metal pieces lay scattered, shining in the sun. When they reached the bunker, they found it half buried. A round metal door stood against the cliff wall, covered in dust. Dean stepped forward and brushed off the control panel. "Still working," he said. "Let's try this." He entered an old Earth military code. The panel blinked red, then green. The door opened slowly, groaning as it moved. Inside was dark and cold. They turned on their lights. Long halls stretched ahead. The air was dry, and old signs marked rooms with names like command and storage. They moved carefully. Nothing moved inside. In the command room, they found maps and screens, some still working. Dean activated a console. Looks like this was a forward base. Long ago, they left in a hurry. In storage, they found seal crates. Inside were tools, solar batteries, and even some defense drones. Dean smiled for the first time in days. This could change things. We can fix the station faster. Maybe even build a shield. Back at the station, they unloaded the supplies. The drones were tested and worked. The engineers began planning new defenses. That night, as the stars rose, Nora stood on the roof of the station. Valen joined her. "You brought light to a dying world," he said. "We're not done yet," Nora replied. "But we're getting there." The war machines would come. But now they had a chance. They would not run. Not anymore. The days passed quickly. With the new tools from the bunker, the station changed. What once looked like a dying place now had power, clean water, and safety. The humans and aliens worked together each day. There was still fear, but there was also hope. Nora walked through the halls and watched the changes. Children ran through the rooms without coughing. Ava smiled more as her patients grew stronger. Felix and the alien workers shared jokes even without knowing the same language. Dean never stopped fixing things. He stayed busy with wires, drones, and machines from the bunker. Ruth called a meeting one evening. The room was full of human and alien leaders. Maps of the area showed movement near the eastern edge. Scouts saw machines, Ruth said. Small groups for now. They are getting closer again. They follow the signal. Dean said, "We lit up the station with power and activity. Now they see us." Valen stood and spoke. "Then we must fight. But we are not warriors. We only know how to survive." Nora nodded. "But humans know how to fight. We've fought on worse worlds than this. We can teach you. We can stand together." Felix looked unsure. "Are we really doing this? We're not soldiers either." Ruth replied, "We don't need to be perfect. We just need to be ready." The next few days turned into training. Ruth and her soldiers taught the aliens how to hide, how to move quietly, how to use simple tools to protect themselves. Some aliens were scared, but they learned. The children watched and copied what they saw. Dean and Felix worked with Valen and the engineers to build small traps using old metal and drones. They set up warning alarms around the station. The shield from the bunker was activated and placed over the main room. Ava made sure there were first aid kits in every corner. She trained young aliens to help others if someone got hurt. The station became a place of teamwork. One night, a storm passed over the moon. Strong winds shook the walls and flashes of light danced in the sky. Nora stood outside, watching the storm. Valen joined her. "We are learning from you," he said. "But I wonder why you care so much. Your kind has power. You could have left." Nora looked up. "Because we've been alone, too. We know how it feels to have no one come. That's why we came." The next morning, the alarm rang. Loud and sharp. "Something's coming," Dean shouted. Movement near the south wall. Everyone moved fast. Felix ran to the comms. Ruth and her team grabbed weapons and took positions. Nora grabbed her scanner and joined the wall guards. In the distance, they saw the machines. Tall, thin, and made of dark metal. Their eyes glowed red. They move in silence like ghosts in the dust. "Only a few," Ruth said. "A scout group, testing us." "Let's show them we're not afraid," Nora said. Dean activated one of the traps. A sharp sound rang out, and one machine fell as sparks flew from its chest. The others backed away, but one moved fast and reached the wall. It climbed like a spider. An alien worker panicked and ran. Nora ran too, firing a small shock weapon from the bunker. The blast hit the machine. It froze, then fell. Cheers rose from the defenders. The machines were not unstoppable. Later, Ruth checked the wreckage. This was a light attack. The real fight will come soon. "Then we'll be ready," Nora said. That night, they celebrated with a small meal. Aliens sang songs from their world. Felix played music from Earth on a small speaker. For a while, the fear was gone. Nora sat with her crew. She looked at their tired but proud faces. "We've done something good here," she said. "No matter what happens next." Outside, the stars watched in silence. The machines would return. But so would the courage of those who chose to stay. And they would not face it alone. The day began like any other. The sun rose over the broken moon, casting a pale light on the station. Nora stood near the wall, drinking from a metal cup. Everything was calm. Too calm. Suddenly, the alarm screamed through the halls. "They're here!" Felix shouted from the control room. A full wave this time. At least 20 machines, maybe more. Everyone ran to their places. Ruth and her soldiers took their weapons and moved the main gate. The aliens followed, holding tools, makeshift shields, and old weapons from the bunker. Dean and the engineers activated the traps. Sparks danced along the wires. The shield above the command room powered up with a loud hum. Nora grabbed her scanner and headset. "Everyone stay in pairs. Don't panic. We trained for this." From the high wall, they saw the machines. Black and tall, their red eyes glowed in the dust. They moved quickly, like shadows over the rocks. The sound of metal feet filled the air. The first wave hit the outer traps. Explosions lit up the field. 3 machines fell. But more kept coming. Second trap line holding, Dean reported, but they're fast. The machines reached the wall. Some began to climb. Ruth fired her rifle and took one down. Felix threw a shock grenade. The blast knocked two off the wall. A large machine broke through the southern fence. It rushed into the station. Nora and Ava ran to stop it. Ava hit it with a pulse charge. It slowed down, then turned. Nora aimed and fired at the glowing core on its back. The machine sparked, then collapsed. "We need help near the med bay," someone shouted. Ruth sent 2 soldiers. Felix followed with a drone that buzzed and flashed lights to distract the enemy. Inside the station, the fight was hard. The machines moved without fear. But the defenders were ready. They used narrow halls, blocked doors, and set off traps in smart ways. An alien boy threw a metal ball under Machine's legs. The machine tripped and fell. The boy smiled, then ran back behind the wall. Dean worked nonstop, watching control board. "I can trigger the power spike. It will fry any machines near the gate, but it'll shut down the outer fence for 10 minutes. "Do it," Nora said. "We'll hold them off." Dean hit the switch. A loud boom followed. The gate flashed with light, and 6 machines fell. Smoke filled the air. But now, the fence was down. More machines came through the open gate. Ruth and her team stood firm. They fired again and again. The aliens beside them shouted and fought with all their strength. Then, a deep sound rumbled from the hills. A new machine appeared, taller than the rest, with thick armor and twin arms that glowed. "That's new," Ruth said. "Big one. Looks like a command unit." Nora looked at the drone feed. "We need to take it out, or it'll lead the others right into the core." Felix took a breath. "I have an idea." He ran toward the side path, carrying a beacon. Dean saw what he was doing and opened a small gate. Felix placed the beacon near an old fuel pile. Then he ran back. The big machine followed the signal. When it stepped near the fuel, Dean hit the charge. The blast shook the ground. Fire rose high. The machine was caught in the middle. When the smoke cleared, it was gone. Cheers rose from the defenders. The machine stopped. One by one, they turned and fled. The battle was over. Inside the station, the halls were quiet again. The wounded were helped to the med bay. Ava and the alien healers moved fast, cleaning wounds and giving care. Nora sat on the steps, breathing hard. Her arm was burned and her leg hurt, but she smiled. Valen walked up to her. "You stood against them. You fought like no one else would." "We all did," she said. "Together." Dean sat beside her. "We'll need to fix a lot of things, but we're still here." Felix joined them, his face dirty but proud. "They'll think twice before coming again." That night, the stars shined brighter. The station still stood. Life had not been taken. It had been defended. And for the first time, the people of that broken moon believed they might truly survive. The station was quiet again. Smoke still hung in the air, and pieces of broken machines lay across the field. The ground was marked with fire and deep holes, but the people inside the walls were alive. They had won the battle. Nora stood in the command room, her arm wrapped in bandages. She watched the screens, making sure there were no more signs of danger. Ruth walked in with a tired smile. "We did it," Ruth said. "For now." "We bought time," Nora replied. "They'll come again, but now we know we can stop them." Ava and the alien doctors worked all day and night. They treated wounds, comforted the scared, and checked on every patient. The young girl who had drawn the picture for Ava was safe. She had helped carry water to the med bay. Dean and Felix walked around the station, fixing what was broken. The shield needed repairs, and several traps had burned out, but the spirit of the people was strong. Aliens who once could barely walk now helped carry supplies. Children helped clean the halls. Everyone had a job. Valen stood before the crowd in the hall that night. "We have seen death and fear," he said. "But today we saw something else. We saw courage. We saw hope." The aliens clapped, a soft sound like many wings. The humans smiled. They had become part of this world, even if only for a short time. Later, Nora sat with her crew in the quiet room near the landing dock. They ate simple food and shared stories. I never thought I'd end up on a broken moon fighting killer machines, Felix said. Dean laughed. And yet here we are. You think Earth will ever hear about this? Ava asked. Nora shook her head. Even if they don't, it matters. We help people. We didn't walk away. The next morning, a message came through the radio. Another Terran ship had heard about the station and was on its way. They were bringing more supplies, more workers, and news. Word spreading, Ruth said. Others are listening now. The new ship, the Kindred, arrived 2 days later. It brought fresh food, stronger weapons, and engineers. It also brought a writer and a scientist, sent to record what had happened. Nora didn't care about fame, but she was glad others would know the truth. Maybe more humans would help in the future. The Kindred's leader, Captain Eric Black, met with Nora and Ruth. You've done something rare, he said. You stayed when others ran. The galaxy won't forget. We didn't do it for thanks, Nora said. We just did what felt right. More changes came fast. The station grew stronger. New walls were built. A second shield was added. The alien children went back to learning. Ava started teaching both humans and aliens how to care for the sick. Valen worked with Dean and the engineers to build a warning system that reached far beyond the moon. If the machines came again, the signal would go to other worlds too. One day, Valen walked with Nora near the edge of the station. I was told humans were dangerous, he said. Loud, wild, full of anger. Some are, Nora said, but some try to be better. You are better, Valen said, because you came when no one else would. Nora looked out at the quiet land. In the distance, flowers were starting to grow again where the machines had burned the ground. This place is still scarred, she said, but it's healing. That evening, under the stars, the people of the station lit a small fire. They told stories. They sang songs. Humans and aliens laughed together. Felix brought out the old speaker and played a soft earth melody. Children danced around the fire. Ruth shared tales of past missions. Valen told a story about his home before the sickness came. Dean raised a cup to all who fight, to all who care, and to this place that brought us together. Everyone cheered. The night ended with quiet talk and gentle music. The station was not just a shelter anymore. It had become a home. And though danger still waited beyond the stars, the people here knew they were not alone. They were stronger together. They had proven it with fire, with courage, and with kindness. Weeks passed. The station was no longer just a place to survive. It had become a home. The walls were stronger, the lights brighter, and the people full of life. Aliens and humans worked side by side. They built gardens, repaired machines, and taught each other new things. The little alien girl, who once feared the machines, now helped Ava in the clinic. She wore a small white band on her arm and smiled when people called her helper. Dean had trained a full team of engineers. They fixed power lines and built tools. Felix had made friends among the alien youth. He showed them how to fly small drones. Laughter filled the halls each day. One afternoon, a small ship landed. A news team from Earth stepped out. They carried cameras and notebooks. They wanted to know the truth. Why did you help them? One reporter asked Nora. She looked at the camera. Because they needed us. Because someone had to. The story spread. People on other planets read about the station and the fight against the machines. Some were shocked. Some were proud. More humans offered help. Supplies came from places Nora had never heard of. Letters of thanks arrived for the whole crew. One letter came from a child on Earth. It said, "Thank you for saving the aliens. You are brave. I want to be like you." Ava read it to the little alien girl, who smiled wide. But peace did not mean the danger was over. Scouts still found signs of machines far away. Valen shared the news with Nora and Ruth. "They are watching," he said. "Waiting." "Let them watch," Ruth replied. "We're ready now." Nora nodded. "We have each other. That's enough." The station became a symbol. Other alien races started to trust humans more. They saw that not all Deathworlders were cruel or wild. Some were kind. Some came to help. A group of alien scholars arrived. They met with Valen and Dean to study the machines. They wanted to learn how to stop them for good. Together, they wrote a plan. It was called Project Shield. The goal was to build a system that could stop the machines from entering safe zones. It needed many hands, but the station had grown. They had people willing to try. Felix flew with a scout team to mark safe places across nearby lands. Ava helped train more healers. Dean led a group to build small power stations beyond the walls. One day, as Nora walked the garden, she saw a small tree. It was green and growing. The same ground had once been black and broken. Valen came to stand beside her. "This tree is proof," he said, "of change, of life." "It's not just a tree," Nora replied. "It's all of us. We changed. Together." That night, a final message came from the Galactic Council. They offered to make the station a neutral place, open to all who needed help, a place where humans and aliens could work as one. Nora stood with her crew as they read the message aloud. "We started with just 5 people," she said. "Now we have many, and we're not done. This is just the beginning." The stars were bright above them. No alarms rang. No machines attacked. Just the sound of quiet voices, laughing children, and gentle wind. Felix looked at the stars. "Think we'll ever go back to Earth?" Nora smiled. "Maybe one day. But right now, this is where we're needed." And so the station stood. A place built by courage, by kindness, by the simple choice to help. The world around them still held danger. But inside the walls there was hope. And the galaxy would never forget the humans who came when no one else did.